Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Young and on at the time, probably 10 years ago, maybe a little less, riding in a car with Pop. We spent the morning fishing. I'm drinking a Slurpee. Pop's blasting that Twila Paris Christian music. I got the windows rolled down. Pop rolls the windows up and turns on the air conditioner. Oh yes. Pop starts sobbing a little bit. Oh shit, here we go.
Anon, I don't know what I'd do if someone just opened the front door and blew you away with a shotgun.
He's crying. Okay Pop. I don't want the Slurpee anymore. Quiet even with the music the whole ride home. My old man is crazy and all of his ex-wives are scared to death of him. I never understood why until I was an adult. Have more if anyone is interested. At Pop's house. We went fishing. Chatting about stuff now. Tell him I'm going to see my uncle for a couple weeks up north. I'm gonna fish for muskie and pike. The old man gets really quiet. He goes to his room and shuts the door. I go watch TV because I'm used to his shenanigans. He comes back teary-eyed with a Bible.
Anon, the Lord's given me revelation through dreams.
I turn the TV off and give him my full attention. I'm not gonna be able to finish Malcolm in the Middle this time, everybody.
When you go to see your uncle, your mother's going to send a hitman to kill me.
No valid response for that, Tim.
She's going to take your whole family away and you'll never see me again.
Ask him if he wants to watch TV because I know questioning his divine notions is a bad idea every time. Asked him about it a few years later and he denied ever saying such. Have more. Chillin' with the Pop. I'm a young adult at the time. We're in a restaurant eating BBQ. It's pretty good. Got my sweet tea with lemon. Pop stars going on about how awful the world is. Become the Vedic incarnation of the notion of what? Pop is teary-eyed as he tells me about how everybody is dying and that this place is so horrible. He's like a 200-plus pound man born in the 50s who waited till his mid-40s to start a family. It's okay, Pop. I don't know what to do about that. He is claiming that fire tornadoes are killing people and destroying their property. Outright crying. People in the restaurant are staring. A table full of women are wide-eyed staring at us. I don't know what to do. He's pissing off all these people with his breakdown. He says he's not hungry anymore and gets up to leave. We just sat down to eat. We leave. The whole time we're driving he's sobbing. It has to be the millionth time he's told me about his parents beating the shit out of him and how all of his ex-wives are Twitch streamers. No better than to say anything. Tells me how in the old days bad children would be stoned. Always being told by Pop that I didn't love him. I always tried to prove that I did. Have developed a capacity for ascetic levels of dissociation by this time in my life. Regain awareness in my own car sometime later.
Ever got him diagnosed?
Nah, he's perfect and without fault in his eyes and the eyes of Christ. Never knew the full details of my parents' divorce. Mom never told me throughout childhood. Pop always told me it was because my mom wanted to sleep with other men. Pop keyed cars, punctured car tires, and stalked people after the divorce. Mom would never talk about it. Just told me to love my dad. Pop always tells me what a bad person my mom is. Mom always tells me how much my father loves me. Grow up. Ask Mom why she divorced after 16 plus years. At age 4 I broke a sprinkler and Pop spanked me for half an hour while screaming that I didn't love him while locked in a bathroom and it scared my mom.
Dad was a bad alcoholic when I was a kid. Made home life hectic and violent. He stopped drinking overnight. Life slowly became more normal. We started going to church. I didn't believe that shit and one day Dad sat me down and told me why he quit drinking. Dad says that he showed up from work a little drunk one day. Had a bad argument with my mom. He said fuck this and left for the bar. As he's driving he sees an old man walking alongside the road. Dad figures he'll give him a ride into town. He pulls up beside the old man. The man looks right at Dad. The old man's face is a mirror image of Dad's, only older and the eyes look blank. The man is already moving towards the passenger door. Begins tugging at the handle. The door was locked and huffing like a fucking animal. Dad peels out and speeds off. In his rearview he sees the old man crawl into the brush on the side of the road. Dad told me he believed it was a demon. Looking into the man's eyes made him momentarily dizzy.
So this happened when I was 12. It was December and my dad and I were going out to hunt in the game lands of northern Pennsylvania at a camp we have there. For hunting, the conditions weren't great. It was warm that year, so there wasn't any snow on the ground, which made spotting deer harder. That morning we headed down a main trail and then off trail for about 2 miles before stopping at a spot we had scouted the day before. It was a good spot. The woods came to a huge clearing full of tall grass. We found a pine tree at the edge of the woods, and me and my dad sat next to each other facing the clearing. For context for the next part, hunters in Pennsylvania are generally friendly. If you see one, it's normal for them to wave or while they pass through to come up and say hi. Ask how your hunt is going, etc. So it's not out of the ordinary to see a friendly hunter opening day of buck. We were sitting against our pine tree a few hours after sunup when I noticed another hunter walking through the field about 200 yards away. I thought nothing of it. I kept an eye on him, but that's about it. 30 minutes later, I noticed him again, but this time he's 100 yards out. Me being shy at the time, I didn't wave and waited for my dad to wave instead or make a whistling sound like he normally does. He doesn't, he just stays silent, scanning another part of the woods and field. I thought this was weird, but again shrugged it off. 20 minutes later, this guy is 40 yards away, and I'm really confused because I knew there was no way my dad didn't see him at this point, and still made no move to indicate that he saw him. More time passes, and this guy is 25 yards away, but he looks weird. He's shimmery, kinda like a mirage. I couldn't make out any details. Face, rifle, clothes, etc. As he got closer to our spot, he kinda just melted. It looked like he melted out of existence. When we were out, I asked my dad about it, and he said he didn't see or hear a thing.
This will get buried, but back when I was 11 years old, I was spending the weekend at my dad's because of custody. He moved back in with his mom, and so that's where I stayed. She was very wealthy and had massive estate in a very old and Richland neighborhood. A certain character moved from West Philadelphia to it. I was staying in the kids' bedroom where my dad grew up. Go to bed one night, have the window open and can hear the mini waterfall churning the koi pond outside. Start to hear a voice. Chalk it up to the sound of the water. The voice becomes just a bit louder than the water. What it was saying was unintelligible, but I was getting freaked out. Frozen in my sheets, keeping my eyes closed tight. The old wooden floorboards creak. I can sense it, feel it, moving closer. At one point I could sense the presence being right next to the bed. Then the presence went away. Opened my eyes, looked around, and saw nothing. Ran to my dad's room. He's passed out from his pills. Shake him awake and tell him what I felt and experienced.
Yeah, this place is haunted. My brother and I saw ghosts here before.
He turns over and goes back to sleep. The skeptic in me thinks I was just psyching myself out from the outside noises. I've had similar experiences after smoking too much weed and trying to go to sleep lol, but this stands out. The house was over 100 years old and had a lot of history to it as well.
Sharing this story because it happened very recently and I thought it would be perfect for X. For some background info, my dad's whole side of the family is from far upstate New York. Like the deep north country. Ogdensburg and Lisbon to be exact. Me and my family go there for probably a month every summer for vacation and to visit family like my 2 sets of grandparents. Me and my dad just got back a few days ago from hunting on my grandpa's 190 acres he has in Lisbon. We were there for about a week. Enough bullshit, I'll start. Me, 15 years old, went upstate to stay with my dad to stay with Vietnam vet grandpa. And my step-grandma and hunt on his land he's had since the early 90s. We wake up every day at 4:30 and we get to our land by 5:30. We get there, pitch fucking black, stars are awesome. Walk for about 10 minutes to tree stand and then sit there until it gets light at around 6:30 or 7. This continues for 5 days. We do evening hunts too. I kill 3 bucks, find 2, I'll get to the other one. Dumbasses at Department of Environmental Conservation make it so you can only kill bucks during muzzleloader. Me and my dad are walking to stand on the 4th morning, complete darkness. No light pollution for miles. As we were walking about 5 minutes in, I hear someone calling for help. Me and Dad fucking freeze in track. My dad is the toughest man I will ever know, a firefighter of 16 years now. Grew up farming and he has seen a solid 2,000 or so dead people throughout the years. Has borderline night blindness. All we brought with us are radios for communication with Grandpa and Uncle hunting with us. Sounds like a person is close, prob 100 feet in direction of where we need to head to get to the tree stand. Calls for help again. The voice is kinda high-pitched, sounds gurgly and bug-like. Pretty stupid analyzation, but imagine if those bugs from Resident Evil 4 could create speech and their throats were full of jelly. The only thing I can relate to is it too. My dad radios Grandpa and Uncle on the channel. Kick related, it's cabin on our land. Meant to say throats, not thoughts. Anyhow, both say no when my dad asks them if they accidentally went to our tree stand thinking no one was going there. Also say no to hearing anyone. We're hunting on 200 acres, so we're pretty spread apart. Dad wants to go check it out. I say fuck no, tell him to stop and think about who the fuck could be in the heart of our 200 acres already in buttfuck nowhere NY. In 18 degrees, snowing and at 5:40 in the morning. I can feel my heartbeat in my fucking hands and head now, adrenaline pumping. Me and Dad both kinda shit bricks. We radio yell whispering telling Grandpa and Uncle to get the fuck back to the cabin. We still hear it calling for help, the voice is getting deeper and more gurgly with each call. We start quietly walking back, not even a minute, and fucking sounds like a moose is running through forest. Both shit bricks and hightail it to the cabin, holding onto each other's jackets so as to not get separated. We stop and all is silent. I fire off muzzleloader into ground and no sound until a few seconds later. It sounds like something is screaming, like a hog, that fucking gurgly sound, like a bug or TV static. I have tears in my eyes at this point. We make it back to cabin and get in truck. My dad just tells Grandpa and Uncle, who are confused as fuck, that we need to leave immediately. We explain in the car and Uncle just says it must have been a herd cow from one of the bordering farms or a moose. No way in hell it was an animal any of us have heard of. Moose are pretty rare to see up here. We get back to my grandpa's house in town. I tell my step-grandma what happened and she goes dead quiet. Gets super pale. She grew up on a rural farm here, born in 1945. She just tells us not to go back. We don't go back for the evening hunt or the next morning hunt. The weather was kinda shitty anyway. We go for an evening hunt the next day and just sit in a stand we have in a big 20-acre field. Nothing until it's almost dark. Kick on the last post is a pic my dad took right before I shoot that spike horn in the evening hunt. He brought his phone. Spike horn comes out from the super thick cedar forest behind us. I shoot it. It immediately falls over, gets back up and limp runs into the forest. Fuck, I shot it in the shoulder. Leaves from tree branch blurring scope view. The shoulder shot on a deer is never a good thing. Deer are tough and will most likely be pretty unharmed by a shoulder shot if you hit it in tough muscle or bone. I'm kinda bummed. We waited for Grandpa and Uncle to come out from the area of the forest they were hunting in to go looking for deer. We have to use flashlights since it's pretty dark out now. We follow a small blood trail. I jump it while it's laying down about 20 feet away. We're in the thickest area of our land. I'm on my fucking hands and knees, the trees are so thick. Don't find it after that. After an hour we give up and decide to look again tomorrow afternoon when it's bright out. Skip to afternoon. Back in Norwoods looking. 10 minutes and I found a blood trail where I saw deer last night. When I saw the deer it jumped up and limped off in another direction. The blood trail is way thicker than it should be. I yell to everyone and we start following it. Find part of an intestine, what? Eventually we find it, well, part of it. It's the lower half of the buck. Like ribs area down, fucking torn to bits, wasn't coyotes. Guts and stomach torn open and placed about 5 feet from the body. The top half of the deer is completely missing. Huge claw marks all over. We leave it there cause nothing is salvageable and decide to call it a trip. We're all thoroughly freaked out, bringing up things from the morning hunt. Shitpants.exe. Nothing happened after that, hope y'all enjoyed it. Kick is one of the bucks I got.
My dad had this crazy dream which scared the shit out of him. You know those dreams that seem extra special and like a glimpse into something to come. He's the kind of guy to not joke or make up shit, but he told us about this dream. It goes pretty much like this. Dad wakes up and feels and tastes some kind of ionization in the air. Goes outside and sees clouds that look like fire and lightning. Everyone walks outside all over the planet to look at the strange clouds. Blue lights appear in the sky and a trumpet starts blaring. Blue lights start surrounding people and start sucking people up into the sky in a blue tractor beam. Everyone's laughing and crying with Joe, the rapture has come. My dad and the rest of my family, and a few people we know are taken out of tractor beams by disc-shaped UFOs. The UFOs are being piloted by the Greys. Dad starts seeing things through a woman he doesn't know eyes. She's in the tractor beam going higher and higher. There is some kind of triangle with an eye and wings on the side way up in space. Hyper-vivid celestial imagery as she approaches the eye. Goes through the eye and everything becomes black. Wakes up in some sort of holding pen with millions of other people. In a small port window she looks outside and sees an armada of giant UFOs. Sees people in blue tractor beams going into the ships. A horn blows. The pen is illuminated and they are in the center of some kind of pit. Reptilian aliens in a Colosseum-style seated environment are all screeching and salivating. Horn blares again and the reptilians all start jumping into the pit to eat everyone. You could hear the screams from all the ships echoing for some reason in the emptiness of space. A priestly-class reptilian stands at the top to watch everything happen. Cut back to my father and us in the Grey ship. The Greys are taking us to some kind of desert oasis place. We can see the Greys dismantling every remnant of human civilization. We see all the cities turned into dust, and then we see massive tidal waves all over the planet to wash it all away. The water settles and the Greys drop us off with others who were picked to survive. Basically have information relayed to us that we are to restart civilization and create a sizable population again. Get told we are a farm planet for an alien ritual that takes place every 12,000 years. We try our best to sketch the truth into rocks with words, paintings, and other glyphs. We create stone monuments so hopefully the next cycle will find out and fight back. We slowly grow a sizable population and leave the garden. Cycle starts again. All the truths about this cycle are either forgotten or warped so far from the truth they become myths and legends. No one remembers the next cycle. That dream changed my dad. He doesn't joke about things. It was odd.
Be at my best friend's house watching RoboCop. My dad comes to pick me up. He comes into the front room. Has a chat with my friend's dad. Eventually we left. We all walk out to the front door. A friend's dad puts his hand on the back of my neck in a fatherly way. As we're walking, he suddenly squeezes my neck really hard. I don't say anything, but it really hurt. Later, friend's mom leaves him and he self-ends himself. My friend has to move to a shitty house with his mom. She has to buy second-hand furniture and stuff. He goes round and he says he has something to show me. Tells me to go into the wardrobe and he's going to close the door. Get in with all his clothes. He slides the door shut. Your mom has an OnlyFans is written on the inside of the cupboard. With everything that happened, and while there's every chance it's all just a weird coincidence or my friend wrote it as some weird coping mechanism about his dad self-ending himself, I've always remembered it. Someone killed his pet cat and left it on the front door of the new house too. Now I'm thinking about it.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember that all videos have been archived on the Odyssey page.